realize that school systems have different ways of calculating grade point averages or GPAs. Because of the fact that the Carson Scholars Fund works with thousands of schools across the country, we have developed a policy for calculating GPA to allow for a fair comparison of students. This video is designed to explain our GPA calculation rules and policies. In order to be eligible as a Carson Scholar or to receive Carson Scholar recognition, students must have a grade point average of 3.75 or above on a 4.0 scale in the combined academic subjects of English, reading, language arts, math, science, social studies, and foreign languages. We do not include electives or other non-academic courses such as music or physical education in our GPA calculation. All applicants must submit an official school report card for the current school year. It is likely that only the first or second quarter report cards are available by our deadline, and that's completely acceptable. Please do not submit a report card from the previous year or submit a transcript. Report cards need to clearly state the student's name and the school name. Due to the fact that schools calculate and report grades differently, we have created the following conversion charts for you to use in calculating your GPA on a 4.0 scale. Please take some time to review this chart and then calculate your GPA. Individual grades should be converted first and then calculate the GPA based on the converted grades. Do not find an average and then convert. Let's work through a sample GPA calculation together. In this example, the student is taking English, math, biology, history, and music. The English is a 95, which using the conversion chart would be a 4.0. Math, the student has an 89. Using our conversion chart, it would be a 3.0. Biology with a 93 would be a 4.0, and history at a 90 would be 4.0. Music, while the student has a 99, is not an academic subject and we would not use in the GPA calculation. So we're going to add up the totals for English, math, biology, and history, which would be 15, and then divide by 4. So that's a 3.75, and yes, this student would qualify for our scholarship program. High school grades in courses listed on your report card as Advanced Placement, AP, and International Baccalaureate, IB, are weighted by 1 point. High school grades in courses listed as Gifted and Talented or Honors are weighted by a half point in the GPA calculation. If a high school student is participating in a dual enrollment program at a local college or university, those college courses are weighted by 1 point. To determine the correct conversion for a weighted class, please refer to the high school weighted conversion table. Note that report cards must clearly reflect that the course is AP, IB, Honors, or Gifted and Talented in order to receive the weight. In order to receive the weight for dual enrollment, the report card must clearly indicate that the student is enrolled in a dual enrollment program. Here is a sample GPA high school calculation with weighted courses. In this example, the student is taking AP English, Math, Honors Biology, and Pre-AP History. For AP English, the student has an 83, which would typically be a 3.0, but because it's an AP class and weighted by 1 point, we would consider this a 4.0. Math, the student has an 89, which using our conversion chart would be a 3.0. Honors Biology, the student has a 93, which would typically be a 4.0, but using the weighted conversion table would be a 4.5 because that class is weighted by a half a point. Pre-AP History, the student has a 90. This is a 4.0 because we do not consider pre-AP as a recognized term for weighting. We're going to add these totals up, so we have 4.0, 3.0, 4.5, and 4.0, which would be a total of 15.5, and then divide by 4 for the weighted GPA of 3.875. Elementary and middle school applicants that have taken a course designated by the school as honors, advanced, or gifted and talented receive a weighted grade in order to accurately determine their overall GPA. The individual course grade for an honors, advanced, or gifted and talented course will be given a half-point weight to reflect the challenging curriculum. To determine the correct conversion for a weighted class in elementary and middle school, please refer to the weight conversion table. Report cards must clearly reflect that a course is advanced, honors, or gifted and talented in order to receive the weight. Let's walk through a sample elementary-middle school GPA calculation with weighted courses together. In this example, the student is taking advanced English, math, honors biology, and gifted and talented history. The advanced English, the student has an 83. An 83 would be a 3.0, but because it's advanced, we're giving it a half-point weight for a 3.5. Math, the student has an 89, which is a 3.0. Honors biology, the student has a 93, which typically would be a 4.0, but because it's honors, we're weighting it with a half a point to be a 4.5. Gifted and talented history, the student has a 90, which again would typically be a 4.0, but because it's listed as gifted and talented, we would give a half-point weight for a 4.5. We're going to add these totals together, which come to 15.5, and then divide by 4. So this student has a weighted GPA of 3.875. Many elementary schools give multiple grades for English, reading, language arts. In order to accurately and fairly calculate GPAs, the Carson Scholars Fund will average multiple English, reading, language arts grades and use that one average grade when calculating the GPA. Here's a sample GPA calculation for an elementary student given multiple grades for English, reading, and language arts. In this example, the two English, reading, and language arts grades or courses that the student is taking would be English and reading. The student has a 95 in English, which would be a 4.0, and a 92 in reading, which also would be a 4.0. We're going to find the average between those two grades, which would be a 4.0 in this example, and use that when calculating the GPA. The student is also taking math and biology, history, and music. We're not going to include music in the GPA calculation because it's a non-academic course. So using the combined English, reading, and language arts grade along with the other academic subjects, this student would have a 3.75 GPA.